And yes, we're sitting here with Keith McLachlan from Standard Bank and just discussing some of the stocks making news on his radar at the moment. Keith, thanks so much for joining us this morning. I wanted to just get your view just on a company which we haven't really spoken about at this JSE small cap slot, which is iQuad. A business services company, and the CEO, David Edwards, who we spoke to last week, has moved up to Joburg to try and make Gauteng increase in terms of the group's revenue. What are your thoughts on this company?
Well, iQuad's a specialist financial provider. They're really in a niche. They're competing with a lot of sort of secondary and tertiary lines and other businesses, but they're one of the few guys that specialize in it. The move into Gauteng and up here makes perfect sense, given that the weight of the economy is obviously lying up here, yet only about a quarter of their revenue comes from it. So all they have to do is very low risk, very low impact. They just need to go in there and capture some more clients, and they can grow exponentially from that. They've got the overhead infrastructure, they've got the skills. It's purely really a factor of marketing and presence.
David was saying that he hopes to grow the group Gauteng's contribution to revenue by 50 to 60% organically. In terms of the competition and what the group can get in market share, just your views on that?
Well, it's going to be hard without a track record or without a major track record up here to sort of estimate numbers. But they are competing with things like banks and the big four audit firms and some of the smaller minor guys. And the critical aspect here is none of their competition, or very few, are specializing in what they do. So these guys can walk in there and bid competitively. They can really do great things. I think I'm leaning in their favor. I think it's probably going to work out. It'll be interesting to see in a year or two's time how it comes.
Let's move on to another stock just making news last week, and that's ARB Holdings, saying that their HEPS was 5% lower than reported last year. It does have a strong cash position. It declared a dividend. Its balance sheet is ungeared. I mean, what were your thoughts on the results?
I thought it was pretty good results. You have to bear in mind they've got the 4 months of, I think it was Paragon Electrical, that they consolidated in. They expect that to contribute significantly in the next financial year. But still, given the tough trading environment, given all the circumstances around it, the dividend is really a pinotage to the shareholders. It's rewarding them, and it's also showing confidence in the underlying company. Because 25 cents dividend to 29 cents earnings, that says a lot in an ungeared balance sheet.
Just the company also saying that it wants to increase its market share through some expansion plans in the region. Obviously, there's a lot of opportunity in sub-Saharan Africa, but there's also a lot of risk. They do have a lot of money. What are your thoughts around the risk for this company going into the rest of Africa?
Well, if their track record is good, they slow it rolling out. They would rather establish a store, do it organically, and get that one profitable before they move into the next one. So and running on that track record, I think that once again, like iQuad, I'm leaning in their favor. It should work. It's not going to be an immediate boost, but it definitely, I think, it's a viable long-term strategy. And they've got the balance sheet to do it. They've got the cash, and they can still, if they need be, gear up.
A possible risk for the company, though, is that they are expecting strong growth in the mining sector. Obviously, there's a lot of political risk associated with the mining sector and also with the strong rand. What are your thoughts around the company moving more strongly into the mining sector?
Well, there are the risks there, and there's definitely systematic risks currently in our local mining sector. But whether those risks translate into the suppliers is also questionable, because whoever's running the mine, they still need the materials, and that's where ARB sits. So I think the risk is there, but it's negligible for them.